All right, we have a systems of equations that we want to solve. So the very first thing you want to do is put this in a matrix. So remember, you're only pulling out, so that's negative z, negative 1. You're only pulling out the numbers. Negative 4, negative 6, negative 2, 0, 3, 9, 1, and 5. All right, so remember the order is you first want to turn this into a 1. And you could do that by simply taking 1/2 of row 1. So negative 1/2, I should say. Negative 1/2 of negative 2, that's going to be 1. Next one's going to be 9 over 2, then 1/2, 3. And these rows we did not make any changes to. 9, 1, 5. All right, so now then the next thing we want to do is we want to turn this negative 4 into a 0, and we could do that by taking 4 times row 1 plus row 2. So remember, these other rows don't change. I'm only changing this second row. So 3, 9, 1, 5. And so I'm taking 4 times row 1. So I'm going to go ahead and write those up here. So 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times 9 is 36 over 2. That'd be 18. 4 times 1, 4 over 2. That'd be 2. 4 times 3 is 12. Now I'm going to add these to this row 2. So 4 plus 4. 4 plus negative 4, whole point, we want the 0. 18 minus 6, 12. 2 minus 2, 0. 12 plus 0, 12. All right, our next step is we want to turn, this 3 into a 0. So once again, I'm not changing row 1. I'm not going to change row 2. And what I want to do is I want to take the negative 3 times row 1 and add it to row 3. So once again, I'll put these numbers up here. Negative 3 times 1, negative 3. Negative 3 times 9 over 2, negative 27 over 2. Negative 3 times 1/2, negative 3/2. Negative 3 times 3, negative 9. Now I am going to be adding this row to row 3, so I get 0. This value right here is going to be what, negative 27 over 2 plus 9, but I need it to be a common denominator. So 9 is the same as 18 over 2. I get negative 9 over 2. Same thing here. I want to take negative 3/2 and I want to add 1. Well, that's the same as 2 over 2. So I get negative 1/2. And then finally, negative 9 plus 5, I get negative 4. All right, now I am, like you guys, not a huge fan of fractions. So I'm going to actually get rid of the fractions in row 3. I'm not touching row 1. 9/2, 1/2, 3. I'm not touching row 2. And I'm simply going to take negative 2 times row 3. Well, of course, that's going to be 0. That's going to give me 9, 1. And negative 2 times negative 4 gives me 8. All right, so then the next thing I want to do is I need to turn this into a 0. And I can do that by taking negative 9 times row 2. Oops, not yet. Let me do one more thing first. I am actually going to, I see this row, I could do 1/12 of row 2 because that'll help me and give me some 1s there. So I have 1, 9 over 2, 1 over 2, 3. 1/2 times 0, 0. 1/2 times 12, 1. 1/2 times 0, 0. 1/2 times 12, 1. So So that's going to make that a little nicer to be able to use this. And now if I scroll down a little bit here, now I am going to take the -9 of row 2 and add it to row 3. So I'm trying to turn this into a 0. I'm not touching row 1. So 1, 9 over 2, 1/2, 3. Not touching this row, 0, 1. But I am multiplying row 2 by -9. Well, that's just 0, then plus 0. -9 plus 9, that gives me 0. -9 times 0 plus 1, 1. -9 times 1 plus 8 gives me -1. Now I'm pretty much home free because I know based on this last row that z equals -1. I also know on this row, so nicely, this doesn't always happen, but that y equals 1. And then I can go back and plug in to my equation here, my x, 1x plus 9/2 y plus 1/2 z equals 3. Or of course you could have used one of the other equations. Probably let's do that because I know once again you guys aren't a huge fan of fractions. So if I use the, I don't know, let's use the 3x plus 9y plus z equals 5. I'm trying to solve for x. I know y is 1. I know z is -1. So I'll get 3x plus 9 minus 1, 8. I subtract 8, so 5 minus 8, -3, and it looks like x equals -1. So weird answer, but -1 for x, 1 for y, and -1 for z.